السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. SubhanAllah, one thing I'd like to mention before I forget is that on the day of Eid, be the first one to say salam. And the Prophet ﷺ, he was asked who was the most closest and dearest to Allah. And he said that when two people are walking down the same street or down the same path, and the one who actually initiates the salam, the first to extend his or her hand, is the best of people and the most mahbub and beloved according to Allah Jalla wa Ala. Also, due to social distancing, if we may not be able to see one another, the first one to call or the first one to text would be awla and aqrab ilallah as well. Also, on the day of Eid, wear a demeanor of joy and rejoice, of celebration. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he would say that the greatest of charities is to meet your fellow Muslim with a cheerful countenance and a happy spirit. In another hadith, and Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he spoke about the obligation of ensuring that people wear a smile on their hearts and also on their face as well. A person came to a Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he said, Ya Rasulullah, ayyul amal ahabbu ila Allah azza wa jal. What is the most beloved of actions according to Allah Jalla wa Ala? And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, idkhalu surur ala muslimin, is to make your Muslim brother or sister happy as well. Also though, Eid is around the corner. We have 2 more nights. We are in the blessed night, the 29th night. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the best of this dunya, the best of the akhirah, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us from the punishment of adhab al-nar. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive our parents, to forgive us, to forgive our grandparents as well, and to forgive all of our brothers and sisters throughout the world. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to purify our hearts from hypocrisy, and to purify our tongues from lies and slandering, and to purify our eyes from treachery, and to also purify our souls as well. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive us, to have mercy upon us, to accept us, to give us entrance into the highest place and abode in paradise, and to rectify all of our affairs. And we also ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect those brothers and sisters in humanity and in faith who are on the front lines, doing what they're doing day in and day out, every day since the lockdowns have started. Allah reward them and Allah keep them under His afiyah and protection. And I also ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allahumma ajurna fi musibatina wa akhlif lana khayran minha. O Allah, reward us due to this pandemic and this trial. O Allah, allow us to be patient. O Allah, do not let the reward of patience grasp out of our hands as well. And also, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give comfort and solace to those who have lost loved ones and who have brothers and sisters, uncles and aunts, mothers and fathers, grandfathers and grandmothers who are hospitalized due to COVID. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them a complete, swift recovery as well. Inshallah, thumma inshallah. So the 29th juz, subhanAllah, they are like any other juz, immeasurable jewels and rubies and gems that we can actually, appreciate. But there's one particular verse in Surah Al-Qalam wherein Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And it's an ayah wherein Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala truly praises Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and makes apparent to us his stature. And this is the ayah, وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. That, O Prophet of Allah, undeniably, certainly, verily, without any doubt, you are on sublime character. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if you look at all of the teachings of the Quran and all of the ahadith and all of the commentary on the Quran and all the commentary on the ahadith, after monotheism, after recognizing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's oneness, the entire message of the Quran and the entire purpose of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam's mission and prophethood was to allow human beings to become human beings. Education enables the human to become human. And that's why Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he said, إِنَّمَا بُئِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ صَالِحَ الْأَخْلَاقِ. I was sent as a prophet of Allah to bring the morals of man, the morals of human beings towards perfection. So the companions, they asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, O Prophet of Allah, who taught you manners? Right? Who taught you adab? And al-Islamu adabu kullu. Islam is all about adab. It's all about adab. You know, it's what you say, but it's also how you say it, right? And the truth, right, can be delivered in a very ugly way, right? Or it could be articulated in the most beautiful way as well. And who was more truthful than Allah? وَمَنْ أَصْدَقُ مِنَ اللَّهِ قِيلًا وَمَنْ أَصْدَقُ مِنَ اللَّهِ حَدِيثًا. Allah, He speaks the truth in the Quran. Yet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He speaks the truth, Allah نَزَّلَ أَحْسَنَ الْحَدِيثِ, He speaks the truth in the most beautiful way. Similarly, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he spoke the truth, he was given an imperative and a command, وَقُولُوا لِلنَّاسِ حُسْنًا, that when you speak to people, speak to them and with them with beautiful words. As a matter of fact, subhanAllah, when the Prophet Aaron and Moses, when they went to Fir'aun, Allah Jalla wa ala, He obligated these two prophets of Allah, great prophets of Allah, that when you speak to Pharaoh, who claims Ana Rabbukum al-A'la, that I am the supreme Lord, right? I am the supreme Lord. That was the statement that Pharaoh made. When you speak to Pharaoh, فَقُولَا لَهُ قَوْلًا لَيِّنًا, speak to him with words which are soft, with words which will penetrate their hearts. Remember, good character and kindness, it has much more of an effect, or a desired effect, than harsh words and being cruel. The yield of honey will be far stronger than the yield of vinegar. The yield of honey will be far stronger and will reach further than the yield of vinegar. So subhanAllah, and Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, character and perfecting people's character was the essence of the Quran and was the essence of his risala and nubuwah and prophethood. And it is also the essence of the month of Ramadan. Allah speaks about taqwa, and we'll speak about those 5 hadith, inshallah. But it's important to preface these things. And again, I do apologize. I know a lot of the Facebook viewers, for some reason, and it's the month of patience, it's no big deal. I cannot, there's a glitch, it seemed, on the Facebook end. For some reason or another, I could post, but I can't post pictures on Facebook, and neither can I post live videos on Facebook. But alhamdulillah, we got the message out. If you know any brothers and sisters who are tuning in on Facebook, they can tune in on IANWC's YouTube page live, and inshallah we'll be giving you periodic updates every day, inshallah, as to what the status is. So inshallah, also for Salatul Jumu'ah tomorrow, for those brothers and sisters who usually view us on Facebook, please do view us if the issue is not resolved on YouTube as well. So again, I was speaking about the essence of Ramadan. The essence of Ramadan is taqwa. And what is taqwa, right? So Ramadan is a month of practice. So after Ramadan, it's game time. It's game time to be a better human being, right? Because in Ramadan, right, it takes practice to become a better human being. It takes discipline to control one's anger. It takes resolve not to have, excuse my language, diarrhea of the mouth, an immediate response. SubhanAllah, the things that come out of our mouth in Ramadan and outside of Ramadan, really. I mean, I'm afraid that SubhanAllah, these words will be a cause of our destruction in this world and the hereafter. A cause of destruction in this world and the hereafter as well. Ramadan taught us how to be more patient. Ramadan taught us how to forgive and forget. Ramadan taught us how to unlearn selfishness. And all of these things are within the concept or within the framework of character, right? Again, as far as character is concerned, two important points. Character has to be within the framework of the Quran and Sunnah, and there has to be ikhlas and sincerity as well, right? So say, for example, if somebody were to offer me, my neighbor, for example, if he were to offer me a bottle of wine, according to my moral relativism, I may say, let me at least accept the bottle of wine, right? And then throw it away, right? But Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, according to his ahadith and his teachings, it would be against Islamic character to accept this bottle of wine. So subhanAllah, remember, somebody would say, I'm sincere. I want to, enjoin and strengthen neighborly relations. Again, there's a proverb, in the English language that the road to hell is paved with sincere intentions. So sincerity is not enough. Sincerity is important. That's 50% of what makes an action valid or what makes character. But the other 50% is that our actions have to be in congruency and have to be within the framework of Islam. That's very important, right? So, for example, if somebody is inviting somebody to their home for a dinner or for a meal, that is great character. That is great character. But if what you will serve them or if how you will entertain them, if that would be against the sunnah, then that goes against character. And that hospitality is actually not for us, but will be against us on Yawm al-Qiyamah. This is very, very, very important. It's very important. So subhanAllah, what are the two prerequisites of character? It has to be sawab. In the Arabic language, it has to be sawab. It has to be in accordance with Quran and Sunnah. And you have to have ikhlas. And why is ikhlas important as well? Look, our scholars have said that if you don't have ikhlas, all of your hajj, it doesn't count. And that's why subhanAllah, when you go to hajj as well, especially nowadays with, the amount of selfies that we're taking, and really, I think we need to revisit, the propriety and, some rulings around, modern day photography. SubhanAllah, people are taking selfies while they're doing tawaf. And this goes against, the sanctity and the reverence of the Kaaba. But SubhanAllah, if a person is going to hajj, and if their hajj has any ostentation, their hajj doesn't count. And that's why, subhanAllah, in the time of Umar radiallahu ta'ala, his son, they were on the mountain of Arafah, and his son says, Dad, look at all the hujjaj. Dad, look at all the hujjaj, right? And his father corrects him. His father says, subhanAllah, son, there are many travelers, al-rukab kathir, lakin al-hajju kalil. But, the true hujjaj, those with sincerity, there are very, very few. So subhanAllah, this is important. And why is it important when in the context of Ramadan? Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he's actually reported to have said, Man qama Ramadan imana wa ihtisaba, ghufir lahu ma taqaddama min dhanbi. That whoever stands in the month of Ramadan with iman and ihtisab, according to Hafiz ibn Hajar al-Asqalani rahimahullah, it has two meanings. One is ikhlas, whoever stands with sincerity. And subhanAllah, sincerity is much more easier in our home. And subhanAllah, it was great for all of us to do ibadah in private, right? Because sometimes when we do ibadah in public, our hearts are compromised, right? So subhanAllah, that's why, even giving charity in private, sometimes it's better than in public. And the reason why it's better in private is that because our hearts are in check, right? Again, there's nothing wrong with announcing your name as well. In tubdu sadaqati fa ni'mahi, right? If you announce it, that's also okay as well. So, and also during the night of Laylatul Qadr, right? Rasulullah said, whoever stands in the night of Laylatul Qadr with iman, with sincerity, and the hope of getting reward, then inshallah, thumma inshallah, they will have the privilege and honor of all of their sins being forgiven. So let us, come out of the month of Ramadan graduated with, an A++ in character. And that's why Imam Hanifa rahimahullah and many other scholars, they've said that if your character has changed post Ramadan, this is a great sign that Allah Jalla wa ala has accepted our fast. I just want to speak about two things or two ahadith here, inshallah, because I spoke about two. One is that Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he was sent to bring the morals of man towards perfection. And the second one was how Allah Jalla wa ala, he taught Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam mannerisms. The third hadith is that whenever you look into the mirror, and subhanAllah, as brothers, we're looking into the mirror, quite a bit nowadays as well. About 26 or 27 times, according to latest statistics. Our sisters are slightly ahead of us by 36, 37, or 42 times, depending on, what polls, which are somewhat subjective at times, you read. But subhanAllah, whenever we look into the mirror, in your own language, it doesn't have to be in the Arabic language, right? You recite this dua, Allahumma kama hassanta khalqi fahassin khuluqi. Oh Allah, as you have made my outer beautiful, and you're all beautiful because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's created you. Allah has made you all beautiful, and nobody should think that they're not beautiful, because subhanAllah, Allah, fatabarakallahu ahsanul khaliqeen. Allah is the best of, the most beautiful of creators, right? So never, or, He's the most beautiful creator, period, right? So never ever think that, subhanAllah, you're not beautiful. And Allah has made us all beautiful. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And the eye who has absolute judgment as far as beauty is concerned is not me, it's not my neighbor, it's not you, it's not your neighbor, right? It's not your best friend, but subhanAllah, it's our creator, al-Khaliq, al-Musawwir, al-Bari', fatabarakallahu ahsanul khaliqeen. So whenever you look into the mirror, make this dua, oh Allah, as you have made my outward beautiful, make my inner beautiful as well. As you have made my zahir, beautiful, make my batin beautiful as well. So Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala, he says, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was asked, what was most instrumental in admitting people into paradise? And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, taqwa and good character. Taqwa and good character. And then he was asked, and what was most instrumental in leading people into the fire of hell? Right? And we could say, Allahumma qina adhab an-nar 1,000 times. But if we don't act upon that dua, man, Allah still have mercy on us. But, we're putting ourselves in a bad situation. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, al-famu wal-farju, the mouth and the genitals. The mouth and the genitals, if they're not controlled, subhanAllah, that goes against character. The mouth and the genitals will hurl, ma'adallah, many people into the fire of hell. Allah protect us from that, inshallah. And the last hadith that I want to speak about tonight, inshallah, is a hadith also reported by Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala an. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Akmalul mu'minina imanan ahsanuhum khuluqa," that the most complete believers are those who are best and most excellent in character. And then subhanAllah, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said something pretty cool after this. He said, وَخِيَارُكُمْ خِيَارُكُمْ لِنِسَائِهِمْ وَخِيَارُكُمْ خِيَارُكُمْ لِنِسَائِهِمْ, and the best of you are those who are the best to their wives and womenfolk. And why did Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam say this? Because again, there are certain, things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put in genders, right? Gender matters according to Islam. We all have strengths, and we all have many abilities, and some abilities Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to males, and some abilities to females as well. And Islam is a tradition of equality and equity, 100%. But subhanAllah, more often time than not, it is our brothers, our husbands, our fathers, our sons who fail to fulfill the rights of kindness, of gentleness, of forbearance, of patience, of love, of honor, and of dignity when it comes to our sisters in both faith and humanity. Inshallah tabaraka wa ta'ala, it's 10:36. Please do join us, Khatmul Quran night. It's a special night. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam will finish the khatam of the Quran with Jibreel alayhi salatu wasalam by the end of Ramadan. We will be making dua to Allah Jalla wa ala. 7-8 minute dua inshallah in the Arabic language, 7-8 minute dua inshallah tabaraka wa ta'ala in the English language. We will end with a quick dua right now. اللهم زينا بزينة القرآن وأكرمنا بكرامة القرآن وأدخلنا الجنة بشفاعة القرآن اللهم طهر قلوبنا من النفاق وأعمالنا من الرياء وألسنتنا من الكذب وأعيننا من الخيانة إنك تعلم خائنة الأعين وما تخفي الصدور اللهم وفقنا بقيام ليلة القدر إيمانا واحتسابا اللهم اكتبنا فيها من الفائزين المغفورين المرحومين والمقبولين اللهم ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم وصلى الله تبارك وتعالى على خير خلقه سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. See you all at 11:55 p.m. And again, I do apologize to all of our Facebook viewers. It was beyond our control, but subhanAllah, it's the month of forgiveness. Please forgive me, inshallah. And in return, Allah Jalla wa ala will forgive us. Jazakumullahu khairan. See you soon. 11:55. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.